Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Williams Return to Glory. In this episode, we go to Circuit of the Americas, and then we go to the Mexico City Grand Prix. As always, I'm going to go cycle through the pit crew real quick. Alright, so looking at the pit crew here, I think this is the best we're going to get. So looking at the mail here, just some stuff about the last race, and we've got an interview with Sky Sports. You didn't quite have the pace today. Is the car letting you down, or are the drivers failing to get the best of it? Yeah, we'll take the blame. Be the big man. Alright, so from the mail screen, we've got a politics vote about removing the virtual safety car, so we only have a full course caution. I don't think this is super important, but I also think it would be kind of beneficial to us to kind of have these situations where we can kind of catch up. So I'm going to just, screw it, we're going to vote for it. Alright, and it goes through with our 3 extra votes, and could have just saved them and had to go through anyways, but is the voting system. Alright, so as you can see, our new engine is in. It's only about 83 points better than our previous engine. Gets us a lot closer, but it doesn't really make us surpass anybody. And it is medium risk, so hopefully we can run this. I will check to see if we can run it in our next race, and it'll be useful. Alright, so from the parts screen, our only part that we have at the moment, other than the engine that we're not last in, is the front wing. This is going to be a part we're not going to use. We're just going to build it, and then we're going to put it on the car at the end of the year, so we can kind of carry over the performance to the next season. And hopefully we can kind of start, because we only have 4 races left, start having our better parts on the car with maxed out performance to kind of help with next year's development. Looking at the Formula 2 race from Monza, 2 races remain in this championship. Your winner was Tepe Notori. Ralph Beauchamp was on the podium along with Marcus Armstrong. See our championship contenders. Dennis Hauger and Logan Sargent really didn't have a good race, and Marcus Armstrong has surpassed Logan Sargent. So, yeah, Armstrong's really looking strong here, kind of coming into these final couple races, only being 20 points behind. You know, 2 races, 20 points, that's a lot to make up, but if you can get, 2 wins in the final race, I think, and 1 bad result for Hauger, I think you can see Hauger usurped at the top. But yeah, the top 3 guys are still in it. We're going to scroll through here, look at the results. You see Hauger finished 14th. Looking at your team's championship, Carlin is slightly spreaded over Prema. Yeah, Prema was at the top the entire season, and they just, as of late, just got usurped by Carlin, and Carlin is just starting to build that gap on him. Alright, so before we go to Circuit of the Americas, I just wanted to show kind of where our car was currently. We are currently ranked 9th best car, so we should hopefully be better than Haas. You can see we're still 10th place with the engine, but that's the, I think it's going to count our highest part. Yeah, 10th with engine, we're 9th with gearbox. We're currently 2nd with our brakes, which is awesome to see. Front wing, we're still 10th. Suspension, we are 9th, and rear wing, we are 8th. So we've been able to focus kind of on improving our parts since we've been building the engines. So yeah, hopefully we continue to see these performances kind of getting pushed up and up and up, and we can see some of that that impact on track. So getting ready for Coda, we are gonna go with Lavazza as the sponsor, or normal 1055, and from the parts, we are actually gonna put the illegal engine on Albon, and hopefully we don't get caught with it. Looking at the next 3 races, top speed is gonna be crucial, and with deceleration being crucial, I think we could be in a spot to have some good performance here. Mexico City, same thing, top speed, crucial, and Interlagos, same thing, top speed, crucial. So we are going to Coda. All right, so from Coda, we are going to focus on the soft tire. I'm going to attempt to also get a little bit of focus on the harder compound. I did say a couple episodes ago I was going to focus on doing multiple strategies so we can kind of like divvy up kind of our options, and the last 2 races I didn't do that, so I'm going to try to get back on track of that, especially since we have a dry race this weekend. Anyways, on to practice. So following practice, Latifi was 20th, Albon was 15th, and top of the board was Max Verstappen. Heading into qualifying, we were able to get qualifying trim level 1, and we also are going to use our normal sweeter spots. We were able to also hit on perfect setups for the 2 of them. Alright, so Albon comes around the final corner. Latifi comes around the final corner to start his lap. He did a perfect. We got a Ferrari that passed him, so unfortunately he's going to lose some time there. Alright, so we're going to send out Latifi first on a brand new set of super soft tires. And we're going to wait till about 2 minutes and 2 seconds, and then we're going to send out Albon. Latifi comes around the final corner to start his lap. He's up, both of them are up. He's up his middle sector, so is Albon. And Albon goes 15th, he is into Q2. Following Q1, we have Guan Yu Zhou, Kevin Magnussen, Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi eliminated. Alright, so Albon's coming around the final corner, but we're going to pause. Alright, so 1 minute and 48 seconds it took him to go around. It takes about 2 seconds to change tires, so we can send him out with about 1 minute and 52 remaining. We're going to watch his lap, kind of just see what he can put down here. Alright, a 1:37.2, that's 2.5 seconds off of Verstappen. Alright, I said 1 minute and 52 or 53. I'm just going to go 54 just to be safe. Alright, Albon is up first sector. He's up his middle sector, and he finishes 15th. So following Q2, you have Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, and Alex Albon eliminated. Alright, so from the final round of qualifying, let's see who starts on the front row. Alright, so your typical front row here is Verstappen and Leclerc. So on the grid for the US Grand Prix at Coda, that has to be distinguished now since we've got apparently 87 of them. We are going to focus on the soft tire, which is the medium compound in the range for Albon, as you can see here, and then we're going to put Latifi onto the medium tires. It should be a fairly straightforward, just one stop pit in the middle of the race for Albon, but hopefully we can kind of see some action here and maybe get an early safety car to either put Latifi onto the medium tires and have that stretch to the end of the race, or maybe have him stay out and catch a safety car at the right time and kind of go from there. But we're going to have Latifi go as long as he can on the medium tires in the hopes of just something happening. From the car setup, perfect for both of them, and this is going to be our driver strategy. Tire temperatures does not look like it's going to be a major problem. They kind of just hold steady, so we're going to push for a little bit, but not too long, and then we're going to put it on neutral. So on to the starting grid. So on the starting grid for the U.S. Grand Prix is Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Alex Albon, Guan Yu Zhou, Kevin Magnussen, Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. So 5 red lights. Away we go. Alright, let's see what Albon can do starting from 15th. I think that's probably our best try just on merit, if you ignore that we've got an illegal engine in the car. Performance we've had all year. So it's good on Albon as we see him kind of going on the outside there and gaining a couple positions. He loses one of them. And he gets it back. Alright. So looking at our tires, we're going to let our tires kind of go midway here. And we're going to let them push just for this next lap on the overtake engine mode. Alright, we're going to put that on to high just until they can go about 1.2 as we see. Oh, I thought we had a Ocon and Bottas pit there, but they did not. Yeah, we're just going to let them push for a couple laps. We're going to wait until they get about halfway into that third little sector of heat. I know there's a bit of an issue with YouTube compression on these videos where it makes kind of all this stuff kind of look a little gargled, but I've looked for like a mod or something to kind of just make these black on the background because it would just make it easier for this stuff to be seen after stuff gets taken by YouTube, but I've not been able to kind of find one of those yet. But alright, Albon is ready to go back onto neutral. We are the only car on track on soft tires, I just realized, with Albon. So hopefully that works to our favor here. So we have a bunch of cars around us on the soft tire that have not been able to escape us, and we're going to put Mr. King Latifi onto neutral. We're actually losing tire temperature very, very quickly with Albon, so that's interesting. So 10 laps in, got low fuel delta, we'll push to about 1.3. That's the arbitrary number Oh, are you kidding me? We got a time penalty? What do we get a time penalty for? I gotta go and look at what that was real quick. Where would I even find that? Data center? Oh, so Albon got a 10-second penalty for cut corner, but it looks like he served it? Okay. That's weird. I don't remember ever seeing that beforehand. Because we would currently have a mark here for a penalty if we currently had one. So Albon's up to 9th. Very, very promising. His tires are very, very worn. We need to make Latifi push. So we need to have Albon push for a little bit, but I don't think he's going to make it to the lap that we want him to because it's just, if the tires get too cold, you just kind of lose pace. So it looks like we're going to be two-stopping here with Albon. Hopefully this can turn into something for us, or we can kind of get a safety car late. Because we got a safety car now, I don't think that would help us necessarily. We could pit him onto the medium tire, but I don't think that's going to be beneficial to us. We're going to put both of them onto medium, and then we're going to box Albon onto the soft tire. We're going to have him push out of the box as well. So it looks like Latifi was put on the correct strategy for the race. Albon has a lot of pace here. I mean, he's holding 14th and he just pitted for his tires. So, yeah, we're going to have a good result here with Albon, and hopefully we don't have Bottas driving over the back of us and kind of ruining it for us. But, of course, I could always screw it up myself, so let's not act too high and mighty about it. Alright, so this looks like the time we're going to put Albon onto neutral. Okay, and then we're going to box Latifi this lap. So it looks like we made a good call here by putting Latifi onto this this alternate strategy. Once again, we're going to let him push out of the box, but he's so far behind. Just kind of showing how poor our second car is on performance. Not a true representation of the king. But we do have a lot of people in front of us that are kind of getting worn on the tires that we're catching, and hopefully going to be able to pass here soon. Hopefully they, when they pit and we have to pit later, we kind of don't get those situations. Don't get into a situation where we might see them be so far ahead of us that, you know, we can't gain on them. So we're going to put Albon back onto push here. Hopefully he can kind of get past some of these guys here. He's got fresher tires than 15th place Tsunoda, who's right behind him. Just hoping that he'd be able to kind of push and be able to get by as we see Gasly blow right by us. Alright, we're going to put King Latifi on high engine mode. Alright, we've got trouble in the main pack of drivers kind of catching up to us, so we're going to actually just obliterate Latifi's tires here for this lap. And hopefully, yeah, we're going to hit him this time by onto... We're going to pause and think about this, or just at least look at the tires. So they're able to get their tires at minimum to go 8 laps. And we've got about 8 laps remaining. So we're going to pit Albon onto the super soft tire right now. Because if we pit him now, while someone like Ricardo gets a blue flag, it's going to be good for us. We need to push Latifi a little bit so we can kind of get some tire wear. Alright, we need to push Albon just a little bit. Alright, the person behind us is getting blue flags, who's Stroll. Alright, so we're pushing. Alright, and now we're going to go on to neutral. So we boxed, and it looks like Sainz boxed as well, and Sainz is actually ahead. It's the first time Sainz has been out front in a race, so that's good for him. Alright, we know we got a whole bunch of fuel left. We're going to start using some of it here. Looks like we're not going to be able to gain really any spots here in these final couple laps on pace. Looks like we're just kind of stuck where we are. You see we've got second place Sergio Perez behind us. In a second I see that we're going to get the blue flag. I'm going to just put him onto... Alright, we're going to do this. We're going to put him on the low conserve. No, alright. Doesn't look like we're going to gain any positions. Latifi is super far behind. That's unfortunate. Alright. Albon finishes 17th. And Latifi finishes 20th. So unfortunately, our engine got caught That's unfortunate. So we're going to lose 2 places in the race, and we're also going to get a $100,000 fine. So your results from the U.S. Grand Prix, Alex Albon has been dropped from his original place because we got caught with a bad engine, and we also had a 10-second time penalty. I don't know if that's applied post-race, and it wasn't like displayed properly, but I thought he served that during the race. But yeah, we got demoted 2 parts, and I think we're also gonna not be allowed to have that illegal part on the car, unfortunately. But your point scorers for the race were Valtteri Bottas, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, George Russell. Your podium, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and your, believe it or not, 4th winner of the season is Carlos Sainz. Looking here at the drivers' points, you see Magnussen has gotten ahead of Alex Albon. I'm assuming that's just on a average finish, so that's disappointing. Looking up here at the top, also the bottom 6 are still, they haven't scored points yet. Charles Leclerc is closing in. He finished 3rd place. Max Verstappen finished in, I believe, 5th place. So he's closing in, but with only 3 races left, maximum of 78 points to gain. His window is starting to close, and he's going to have to pull out some extraordinary results here and hope for some bad luck for Verstappen to kind of get the ball rolling. So moving on to the team standings, we saw Haas got very, very close to scoring points, which would have been bad. But yeah, same pecking order as usual. No movement. And I'm very sure that Ferrari will not have an opportunity to close up on Red Bull. So I believe that most of these positions are just going to stay where they are. Following Coda, we will leave with 1.2 million. That's because we would have left with 1.28 versus 1.38 because we had that $100,000 fine from the FIA. For those interested, here's the Formula 3 standings from round 8 of 9 for them. You have Philip Ugaran on the top step of the podium. You have Ito Cohen, and then you have James Headley. Here are the race results. Slowly scrolling through that. Looking at the championship battle, it was fairly close here for a bit, but it looks like Ito going to the final race is going to have it mostly set out here. He's got a 9-point gap, and you can score up to 25 points, so it is most definitely not over. But yeah, if he just kind of finishes top 2 in the next race, you could see him walk away as the F3 champion. Looking at your teams, Carlin are still on top. They've got a 7-point gap over Genzer, and they've got and Genzer currently have a 7-point lead over ART. So this is fairly close. This is all stuff that can change in the final race, but we're going to see a close battle here for the championship. So from the pit crew screen, we're just going to kind of go through some rotation real quick. Alright, so looking at the pit crew, I think that's fairly well rotated. So from the part design screen, we're going to build another engine. Unfortunately, with us getting that other engine banned, we cannot put it on the car for the rest of the season, including at the end of the season. So it's not going to carry over to next year. So we're just going to build a probably high-risk part, or maybe just another medium-risk part, and just kind of focus on getting the performance on it for next year. Yeah, and that'll be potentially our final part that we build for this car before the end or the start of the next season. All right, so this is the engine that we came up with. It's going to be here in 27 days, 16 days after the race. So hopefully, very, very likely this could bleed over into after the season. From the mail screen, there's stuff about the previous race. We got an interview with Nico Rosberg's YouTube channel. After his victory today, what are your thoughts on Carlos Sainz? Just compliment all these guys. Yeah, he deserves it. So from the part improvement screen, just kind of showing part banned. Can't use it. Here's the high risk wing that we just built. We're not going to focus on doing anything here until after the season, just so we can kind of focus on getting those extra points for the current parts that we can and will put on the car. So from the headquarters, we can see that we just finished our factory. This allows us to kind of put more parts into the performance queues, so we can kind of focus on building those up. So we're going to jump right back over to the parts screen. So from the part improvement screen, you can see we've had these final 2 slots unlocked finally. This allows us to also kind of fix stuff quicker and to improve parts quicker. So we're going to focus on the engine and the front wing. These are both things that are going to help Nicholas Latifi through the final 3 races of the year. And we're also going to use the hell out of this at the end of the year to kind of focus on the illegal parts that we have, like the front wing and the engine that are going to come in. Alright, so we have a dilemma from our emails. It says, Dear Sexy, we've had some complaints from factory staff. Mechanics claim their hours are too long. They don't have enough time to recuperate between races. They appreciate that there is much work to do on the cars, but request more leave time and less overtime. Do you have a response to their request? So we can pay $500,000 and have their mechanic relationships go up, or we can not do that and have it go down by 5. We're going to pay. Getting ready to go to Mexico. Our sponsor is a typical Lavazza. Usual 1055. Part selection, we had to go back and give Albon the engine that was legal. And yep, we're gonna go to Mexico. So getting ready for the Mexican Grand Prix practice. We're gonna focus on the soft tires, and hopefully we can kind of get something going on the medium again, just kind of like we did last race. And we're gonna fast forward through practice. So following practice, Nicholas Latifi finished 20th and Alex Albon finished 16th. Top of the board was Lewis Hamilton. Getting ready for practice, we have both cars on quality trim and sweeter spots level 1. Looking at the setups, Albon was at 97%, and I was just trying to mess with the downforce a little bit. But Latifi has got a perfect setup, but we will go on to qualifying. Alright, so we're going to time Latifi to the line. We're going to say about 1 minute and 52 is the latest we can send them out. I think we're going to send them out for a second lap. So Latifi starts a second lap. He's up. Albon is down. Albon is down. I'm going to bring in Albon just in case he doesn't make it. Alright, so Latifi. Got 1 minute and 52 is the latest that we can send him out. So that means we got to send somebody out at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And it looks like we're going to be able to send Latifi out on that exact time. Alright, we're going to send out Albon as well. Alright, we're going to hope that Albon gets across the line. Alright, let's see where these two finish, and they're both down. Or, Latifi was up, Albon was down. Following Q1, Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou, Alex Albon, and Nicholas Latifi were eliminated. Following Q2, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, and Mick Schumacher were eliminated. Alright, let's see who gets pole in Q3. So your front row for the Mexican Grand Prix is Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. So on the starting grid for the Mexican Grand Prix, we're actually going to put Alex Albon on the harder tire. The reason behind that is because it is a 46 lap race. So that means we have to do 23 lap stints on the tires to kind of do a one stop. Looking at the tire wear, the mediums can go 29 to 31, but the softs only can go to about 23 laps. So that's with perfect management, which we have had horrible management this entire season. So we're gonna bet on the medium tires, but I want to keep Latifi on the alternate strategy. But I will just kind of double check and look at what the rest of the grid is doing. So after double checking the grid, there's a lot of people that are gonna have to make a couple extra stops. Either because of their tire strategy or what else. So I think the best bet is to kind of put both of our guys on the hardest set of compound and just have them go as long as they can. This is going to be our driver strategy, at least for just the first lap, and on to the starting grid. So your starting grid for the Mexican Grand Prix is Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou, and Alex Albon and Nicholas Latifi. Alright, so the 5 red lights are about to go off. We have only 6 other people on the medium compound of tires. And hopefully we are the ones who are going to be able to take them the longest, and we're able to one stop and gain a bunch of track position on people, especially those on the back half of the top 10 who have the soft tires on currently. So we see our tires have just absolutely melted in the quarter of a lap we've pushed them. Or 2 laps we pushed them, but regardless, still, it's a lot of tire temperature. So we're just going to be sitting about. We're actually going to have both of them conserved for a lap. Maybe we should just add them on neutral from the beginning. We are passing Lance Stroll. We already have Gasly, who's just pitted, but Gasly comes out right behind us. Alright, we've been conserving on our tires for a little bit. We're going to just wait until we see our moment to switch them over onto neutral. And I think that moment is now. Alright, we're 7 laps in. We got to make it to about lap 23 before we can make our stop. So we see we've got Gasly, Norris, Ricciardo, and Alonso all behind us. We've got more pitting in front of us. Now they're pitting onto the soft tires, so they're going to have to pit one more time, but maybe 2 more times if they're not good with their tires. We only have to pit once this entire race. We're going to push to 1.3 on the fuel delta. Hopefully that we can make these tires last long enough to where we're not getting lapped. We're far enough ahead of Vettel where I'm not too worried about him. I think definitely Albon will probably finish ahead of him in this race. Latifi is another story. We're going to go on to conserve for a little bit just because we've got a lot of tire temperature. And we're just going to conserve. Actually, we're just going to back up actually till that fuel delta hits 1.3. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton is just out front by a long margin. Very good pace from him today. Alright, so we're 18th and 19th. We got Stroll ahead of us who's going to have to pit. That's going to make him do a 2-stop. He's 4 seconds ahead of us. So it looks like we're going to at least finish ahead of the Aston Martins, hopefully. We're not in danger of getting lapped yet, so I think that's going to be a problem when we come out of the pits after a pit stop. We have Zhou who's falling back to us. Hopefully Zhou has to pit before the halfway point. Vettel has gotten ahead of Latifi. You see our tires are starting to wear really badly. Alright, we're going to conserve. We just have to get these to last until that lap 23 point. So we're cutting it a lot closer on the tires than I thought we would, so this makes me feel more confident in our strategy. We just gotta essentially conserve for our entire run. Alright, so Latifi looks like he's gonna get lapped this lap, so we're gonna make him pit this time. We're gonna just have him conserve for a while we focus on Albon, who's in 14th at the moment. 15th, now it's 16th. Alright, so we've just got to that point to where I am going to pit Albon onto the mediums. Or as Paul DeResta would call them, mediums. Ever since I saw somebody mention that, I've never been able to unhear it. Alright, so we have been lapped by just Lewis. Got a little bit until we can see Max. We're going to start pushing because we can kind of push a little bit. Say we're going to push till about 0.6 on the fuel. We've got Vettel who needs to pit next. He's ahead of us. We've got Stroll who's ahead of us on a pair of, a brand new set of, or not brand new, but an older set of medium tires. So hopefully we are able to potentially keep the tires under us to the point where we can comfortably just kind of ride it out and not have to make another stop. Alright, so these tires are at the point where I feel comfortable putting them on neutral until later into the race. We're going to put them on medium neutral. Just going to let them build that tire temperature. Vettel is obliterated Albon there. Could be down to blue flags, could just be down to situations. We're going to get another blue flag here for Albon. Alright, once he gets the blue flag, there we go. We're going to pause, we're going to have him back up and go low. Up until he gives it place up. And then he's going to immediately get another one. And that's the hole we're going to crawl into. Okay. We're going to go high, neutral, or neutral, high on the engine mode. We're going to push just for that little bit. Yeah, Vettel is doing really good on his tires. I'm more than certain that Stroll is going to have to pit. And we're not looking good here. Really would have appreciated having that that engine that we risked our that we were only able to risk for one race. I thought medium risk was maybe not going to get caught the first time out, but played the game and we lost. We were ahead of Stroll at the moment, but Stroll has got 2 seconds behind us. Alright, so we're going to put Albon on conserve. We're going to put Latifi on conserve. We're going to put them on the engine mode of high. And let them push to about 0.2. Or 0.15. I think 0.15 is a little bit better. So we don't know how much time we're going to have left. Thankfully, it doesn't look like any of our rivals currently have pace. Tifi's got a lot of fuel. We'll let him burn it. Doesn't look like we're going to get lapped a second time here for Albon. Put Albon onto neutral, medium, and hopefully he can hold off Lance Stroll. Yeah, okay, we got 2 laps remaining. Be 2 laps this time. our tires heating up here. This should be our final lap. Latifi is nowhere. And we at least beat one person on pace. So after the Mexican Grand Prix, we finished 18th and 20th. We were able to stay ahead of Lance Stroll. I was a little bit hopeful that our strategy would be a little bit more effective, but I think also just those harder compounds of tires really expose how bad the pace is of the car. But on your points, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez on the podium with Max Verstappen, and another brand new winner, Lewis Hamilton. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, nothing changes here in the bottom six. We see that Pierre Gasly has gotten ahead of Esteban Ocon in the points, but it looks like with 2 rounds remaining, Max Verstappen is going to be your 2022 Drivers' Champion. Looking at the team constructors here, I also think Red Bull have mathematically, or no, they've not mathematically. Sorry, they're close to mathematically securing the constructors championship. Still not mathematically clinched for kind of 5th through 10th. There's a bunch of different ways that these all could change in the final 2 races, but very unlikely. So after Mexico City, we bring home $1.3 million. In Formula 2, Marcus Armstrong wins the F2 race, and he goes all the way to the top of the board with 1 race remaining. He's got 4 points over Dennis Hauger. Logan Sargent is mathematically out of winning the championship, but he can still take 2nd. But this is a fight between Marcus Armstrong and Dennis Hauger for the F2 title here. Looking through the results here, you got Marcus Armstrong, you got Theo Pourchaire, and then you've got Yuri Vips on the podium. Dennis Hauger only scored 2 points, and Logan Sargent finished outside of the points. Looking at the team standings, High Tech have gone from, I believe, 3rd all the way to 1st in this race just by scoring those 41 points in the race. So they have catapulted themselves back to the top of the grid there, and they have a 5-point advantage over Carlin. So this F2 finale that we'll see in the next episode is going to be pretty massive. All right, so finishing off this episode, I felt like we had a decent shot at Coda, but I just bet on the wrong tire with the better car with the illegal engine, and then the engine got caught, which really kind of compounded the issue. So I felt like if I was able to put Albon on the harder compound of tires throughout the entirety of the race, I felt like that would have been a better strategy. And I don't think we would have got points, but I definitely think we would have got a better finish. We had 2 new winners today. I don't remember if I said anything, but I definitely have been looking at this screen here and seeing the lack of wins by everyone else other than Daniel Ricciardo. But we've got Lewis Hamilton winning his first race of the season, and we also have Carlos Sainz winning. So we only have 1 team on the grid who have 2 winners in their cars. So yeah, I think that's a good thing for the just the outlook of the championship. I was mentally kind of looking at the wins and kind of getting tired of the Verstappen Leclerc show. So yeah, we had a disappointing last race at Mexico City. Just kind of didn't have the pace, and we bet on the harder compounded tire, which again just kind of shows the lack of pace we have, even though we were able to finish ahead of the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. But as always, if you enjoyed today's video, like, comment, subscribe, all that dumb YouTuber stuff, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.